Alright, so welcome back, and this is now part 2 of the video where I'm getting you started on both LaserGRBL and LightBurn. Now the video ended up being too long, so this is the second part where I'm going to get you started with LightBurn only, and then towards the end I'll give you my thoughts on which software you should choose. Now if you haven't watched my part 1 video, I'll put it in the description below. You should also see a card popping out on the corner so that you can have a look on that. Alright, so now LightBurn is a way more advanced software than LaserGRBL, what I showed you in part 1. And you will see that in a while. Now, this software comes at a cost. It is not free. In fact, as of the day recording this video, the price is, there we go, by LightBurn. It's a $60 for G-code license and $120 for a DSP license. So this is your typical desktop laser engraver, okay, like Ortur, Aufero, Neje, Atomstack, and many other, Oakeroo. And this is instead CO2 type of laser engraver, okay? So now, the cool thing is that you can download 1 month free trial where you can actually evaluate the software if you actually need all of the functionalities, and then you can decide whether to purchase the software or not. Now, as for the installation, this software is going to work in all operative systems. So there is Windows, Mac, and Linux version compared to LaserGRBL, which instead works only on Windows natively. Okay. Now you can download your version from those links over here under the download trial, the 64-bit, 32, Mac, or Linux. And once you click on that, you should get a file downloading. I'll suggest you to save it, then go to the directory where it was saved, extract the files from the zip file, locate the .exe, and then that will follow a typical installation process. So I'm not going to show you also for the software how to do that. I'm sure that most of you can actually work that out. Now, once the software is downloaded, it is time to go ahead and launch it. And this is the software. Now, at a first glance, when you open the software, you can see a lot of things going on, which is nothing compared to the Neje desktop application if you're coming from that kind of software, or LaserGRBL, which I'm going to open really quick just to show you. So there is nothing in comparison. So with this software, you can do a lot of things, okay, including design, manipulation of designs, layering, and so on. So I will get into that now in a while. So let's first pair the machine. So what you want to do over here is to come down to devices, as you can see. And then now my machine has been already paired, but that doesn't matter. For most machines, you will be able to do this automatically. So LightBurn will locate automatically the machine. So find my laser and then simply click on next. This will scan for the available ports and will locate a machine. And as you can see, I got this GRBL type of machine with this engraving area 400 × 410, which correspond to my new Neje 3 Pro, which is what we are about to set up for this video, for this demonstration. And so you can go ahead and click on Add Device. Now here you can give a name, whatever you want. I'll leave it in default. And then you can also correct the dimension of the engraving area if you see that is not matching. Then next. Then you can position the home, so where you want the 0 position to be. And so you will want this to correspond to the home of your machine. And then whether or not you want the machine to automatically home each time the laser starts up. Okay, so let's give it on next and then finish. And now let's come over here and let's click on OK. Now let's move over to the console tab over here on the side. If you didn't see this console tab showing up, you will need to come over to Window, and you will need to look for console, and you will need to click in order to have this check mark next to it. So whatever is checked is currently visible on the window. Okay. So now what you want to do here, you can see that it says waiting for connection. So that means that currently nothing is connected. So over here, similar to LaserGRBL, you have a drop down with all the available ports. So again, check which one it's yours. Otherwise simply try some out. And so click on COM10, and this will now load. As you can see, version 1.1, Neje build version, and so on and so forth. Now, something else that you will want to do is to switch to the machine, GRBL, so that this is going to actually give you all of the parameters for that specific machine. Now, you can see that we lost the connection. So what you want to do, go to choose and back to COM10. And once you do that, as you can see, the machine will automatically home, which means that the connection is actually all right. So you can see over here, okay, homing, and then okay. The console is a very important thing that with the time it's good to know how to read some stuff. Okay, it is not important when you get started, but then over time you will realize that it is actually good, because it will help you out also with other stuff, problems, diagnostic, and so on. All right, so now similar to what I did with LaserGRBL, let me give you a very quick overview. Now, this software is massive compared to LaserGRBL and the Neje desktop application. So it is not possible to show you everything, but I will try to show you the most important things to get started. Now, once again over here we got the canvas in the center, which this time has the exact dimension of your machine, so it's 400 times 410. Okay, you can see over here the coordinate system. Then what you will need to know. Now, let's start from the top. On the top you have some tools, okay? Some they are for file import, and some other they are for the control of whatever you have loaded, like grouping, flipping, and positioning, and whatever. If your software doesn't look exactly the way it looks here when you first download it, it is because I have basically toggled on and off some of those window tools. Okay, so for example, right now I have the extended tool set for the positioning and alignment. So in your case, you will have some very small thing up there. Then down here, you will have everything related to positioning and dimensions about your projects. Also the reference point for the project that you have loaded in. Here, stuff related to fonts, alignment, height, bolding, whatever you can imagine. This is related to the rotary tool, if you're going to use a rotary tool. But that's a more specific topic, which is for another video. Then here you have a bunch of polygons, lines, tools for design and manipulation. Here you got some Boolean, so to combine shapes and do all sort of things. Okay, now if you already know Inkscape or any other vectorial software, some of those terminologies and symbols, they should come familiar to use, and it's all matter of understanding the actual like procedure specifically used by the developer to let this software, to let this command work. Okay, but yeah, it is very simple there. Anyway, so let's start with something. First of all, we can draw something, as you can see over here, circles, squares, whatever. We can also draw stuff like this and escape when you are done. Now, the coolest thing about this software, it is not much about the design, which is cool on its own, but it's the layering system. That means that you can basically move independent, oops, let me escape for now, let's go to the select tool. You can basically locate geometries or group of stuff into independent layers. So let's see, this is a blue layer, this is a red layer, this is a green layer, and a magenta layer, whatever. And the cool thing is that each layer can be settled to a specific operation with its own specific speed and power settings, which is a very cool thing because you can, in a single project, do a very complex thing without having to do tricks or to prepare files in advance. This is very cool. So as you can see over here, under each layer you have, for example, the mode, which is like line, if you want only the outline, the fill, if you want this to be engraved inside, full. You have fill plus line, that basically both of them, the inside and the outside. Offset fill, okay, this is G-code based stuff, it's more advanced. And then you can see over here on the bottom of this section, which is called cuts and layers, you have the layer color, the pass count, so how many passes you want. As I said, in LaserGRBL is the same. That's if you want to cut, you might need to pass multiple times in order to actually go through your material. Then you have here the speed, for example, the power, and the interval. Now this interval will be applicable for things with fill. Okay, if you go to the blue layer, which is set to fill, so that's going to be effectively full, you can actually change up and down the interval in millimeters. Okay, now the approach in this software is a little bit different. In LaserGRBL we have lines per millimeter. Here instead we have the actual millimeter. Okay, and the other thing is that you can select what you want. You can basically instruct the software to cut only what is selected, okay, when you toggle this on, or everything, whatever is in between the canvas. So you can exclude things. You can also toggle layers on and off. So these layers that are now with the output toggle to off will effectively not be engraved, even if they are selected. Okay, so this is cool. You can reach a very high degree of control for your specific project. Okay, and the other thing is, let me toggle this back on. Cut selected graphics. You can select. You can have your preview. Now here you have your preview. You can see the cut distance, also the rapid moves, and what is the estimated time for this project. 12 hours, 7 minutes, whatever. This is massive now what I did here. And you can also have a simulation of what is going on, as you can see. Okay, so you can click on play and you can see this moving back and forth. Okay, then the other thing is you can also show the traversal move. That means when the laser is actually not engraving. And this is cool if you want to place something in between, or if there is stuff that the machine may collide with. You can actually rearrange the way this starts. Okay, there are many things that you can actually manipulate here. You can also decide if you want, for example, this rectangle to be start from one side or from the other. You can, for example, select here the start shape point, so you can set it over here or over here, for example. And now if we go back to our preview, you can see that the free move doesn't anymore pass through this area. So if in this area I had to have something, then it's not going to collide with it. Okay, and that's something that you might ask yourself now. It could be like, for example, a magnet to simply keep the material fixed to the mesh or to the base or whatever. Okay, and so you don't want the magnet to be kicked off from the laser module as it moves. And so like this, you make sure that the magnet is not going to be touched. And you can also run the like a dry simulation. That means without actually giving power output to see the machine moving around. Okay. And so as you can see here, we have a bunch of things that we can do. So select stuff, we can align them to the center, we can move them around, we can distribute them, as you can see, evenly. We can do a whole bunch of things. Then we can actually edit this line. You have the edit mode, and so you can edit the independent nodes. A note here, a side note here, is that you are not able to actually position in this version yet the nodes by coordinates. So unfortunately, and I hope this is going to be implemented in the future, but in Inkscape it's something that you can do, and it's very handy for designing purposes. But you can still move them around, and you can use the arrow keys to move them. So my arrow key right now is set to 1 millimeter, so I know that each click is 1 millimeter. If I do shift arrow, I know that it's 10 millimeters, and so on. I mean, there are a bunch of things. It's like a huge software here for this kind of things, okay? Then, for example, we said about the Boolean, so I can select this buff, and I can, for example, weld these things together. And so as you can see now, it's a single but more complex shape. Let me do this with the oval over here. So weld, and as you can see, now it's welded. It's a weird complex shape which you weren't able otherwise to do it as easy as it is right now. And so you can basically draw simple things, and you are basically able to do more complex things. All right, now without wasting any more time, let's see what we are going to engrave for today. Now, we've been cutting something with LaserGRBL in the part 1 of this video tutorial. So in this case, we are going to engrave something, and I've actually prepared, let me see over the recent, if I have my lion somewhere here. There we go, lion. Okay. Nope, I don't want to save it. There we go. This is the lion that we were trying to work out previously. Now here, if you right click, you can adjust the image. You can adjust the contrast, the brightness, again, all of what you want. Now I'm not going to touch them because I've already fine-tuned them, but basically you can see that we get once again some of the stuff that we have already seen in LaserGRBL. So contrast, brightness. Here you also get gamma, then radius and amount. These are more specific stuff. Then the layer settings, as you can see, I got it back into Jarvis, but also here we have ordered, Atkinson, Dieter, Stacky. Jarvis, as I said, is the best one. So then the line interval, the DPI, this is the quality or resolution. These are relevant for some of the type of modes. And then so when you are basically done, you can see over here the actual result and click on OK. Now, since this is an image, it's generating a standalone layer called image. Okay, if I were to import another image, there would have been another layer for that image. And over here, you can see we get again the basics parameter. By the way, something that I haven't showed you earlier is that if you double click into a layer, you get an entire world of parameters that you can set for the specific layer, depending on the mode you are. Now, if you are line, if you are in a fill, if you are in a fill plus line, you can see advanced and stuff. So as I said, many things going on in this software. But anyway, in this case, let's close this up and let's double click into the image. So in the image, you can see that since this is in fact an image and you cannot change the mode clearly, Here you get again the image mode like Jarvis and all of the parameters that we saw a while ago in the image manipulation settings. Once you're done, click on OK. Now you can click on it like this and you can preview it. And as you can see, this is the preview. Again, we can see as the project progresses. We can also play, so to see how the project goes. And once we are done, we can click on OK. In the meantime, again, just to remind you, here we get the estimated time for the execution. Bear in mind that this is an estimate, and for my experience here, we might see at least 5 minutes of difference. So this will most probably be engraved in about 5 minutes more, so 35 minutes. So let's give it OK. Now the other thing that you can do in this software, you can, as you can see now, is located somewhere. I don't know if maybe it's the center, whatever. You have tools to automatically move this wherever you want, in the corners. Let's move it back, sorry, to the center over here. Also, you can engrave in absolute or user origin, as we did in the previous software. So we were basically moving, jogging around, which in the software is done either like this. You can see we have this manual jog. I can move now here and the laser will move, or you can go over to the move tab, and here you can see we have once again the movements and a bunch of other things. Okay, so this is used to set the user origin. So once you're happy with it, you can basically go ahead and click on set origin. Okay, however, what I like to do in the software is to go into absolute. That means that where you have your project, that's where the material is supposed to be. And so it is good to put your material and then to eventually move this by hand to perfectly fine-tune this with the material, or alternatively to move the material to fine-tune it. However, moving the material by hand, it's a little bit harder than simply clicking this and then using the arrow to move like 1 millimeters, 2 millimeters, and so on. Okay, now once you're happy with it, let's once again place the material beneath. You can basically click on frame once again. And you can move this whole thing around until you don't get to the position you need. And once you're ready, you can basically click on start. Alright, so as you can see, we got a pretty decent result with this engraving. As you can see, this software is having a lot of things that you can customize from a design standpoint and also layering standpoint. You can do a lot of things, and in fact, I'm just going to show you one more thing. Let's go and open some of my recent. Let's see what I can. There we go. Stuff with notes. Let's not save this one. So as you can see over here, this is an SVG file, okay, coming directly from Inkscape. And now let me take one of those notes aside. So let me rotate this 180 degrees, okay. And the cool thing here is that if we notice something that didn't work out fine in Inkscape, you can click over to the node tool and we are actually able to manipulate this here, which is crazy, you know. You can do bunch of things, which is pretty much what you were able to do in Inkscape. So that's something also good for you to know. So you can basically edit existing software. And the other cool thing is that here, if you are a CAD user like me, you will be able to open DXF files. So let me try that. So file, open, laser engraving. Let me see, projects, maybe under assemblies, structure. What's this? Yeah, we go. Open that up. All right, so as you can see, this is a DXF file. Now this is my filter box, which I've designed in was Fusion, yeah, and then I've exported all of the drawings as DXF, and as you can see, they are here, and I'm able to work with that. The other cool thing is, if for example you're working with AutoCAD, for example, or LightBurn, you can actually give layers to your design, and the layer will be matched up in the software. Now, as you can see, I think that if you've been watching the both part of this starter guide tutorial, you will be able to make up yourself the difference between the two softwares. I don't think there is much that I have to say. Now, what I can tell you though, this is based on personal opinion, if you're on a budget, LaserGRBL will work just fine. Bear in mind that you will be able to do most of the things between Inkscape and LaserGRBL. Inkscape because will be your most probably your editing software, and then LaserGRBL to do your engraving. In LaserGRBL there is an option called Append, which I guess I haven't showed you in part 1, but basically over here, file, let me reload the other one, create, and then file and append. Yeah, let me append the PNG file, open, next, create. Now, as you can see, I didn't pay any attention, I didn't change any settings. Now I have my musical key over here and my keychain. And so they're both together, and one effectively has engraving on it and the other one is cutting. Okay, so this is the cool thing. Although you don't have the layers as you have seen in this software, however, you are going to have the option to append, and so you will simply need to prepare your files in such a way that can be appended, and you can actually get your ultimate complex result or project. And so you can basically do everything in conjunction with your vector editing software, which can be, for example, Inkscape. While in this software, it's everything ready on one package. You can do the stuff right away inside with complex things. Well, there are things that you cannot do with LaserGRBL, and this software can do, like dubbing and other things, okay? But in general, it is all dependent on the budget that you got available and also on your personal use. Now, if you're on a budget, and I know that $60 might be not in the pocket of everyone, then LaserGRBL will be the software to go. You can do everything. I've showed trick in the past, so I have videos covering some of the things, and also if you have comments on how you can achieve certain things, you can leave them in the comment section below. So I'll be ready to help and to give you my hint based on my experience. However, if you're intending to use your laser engraver for many projects, especially complex project combining both cuttings and engraving, or if you're trying to kickstart a small business, trying to sell products, engrave stuff for friends and family, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you are intending to have an extensive use of your machine, I'll highly recommend you LightBurn. This will pay off by himself over time. I mean, it will make your life much easier because you can control the things the exact way you want within the software. Okay? All right. So with this, we have basically covered the two most important softwares for controlling desktop laser engravers. And I also showed you the difference and gave you my opinion on which one you should choose. Now, if you have any comment, if you need some help in getting started or you get stuck somewhere, do not hesitate to leave the comment in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the thumbs up buttons. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. Ciao for now.